Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be kind of a fun video, maybe a little bit of a challenge. I don't know, maybe not a challenge at all. Maybe this thing's going to be great. I thought it would be fun to grab one of the really cheap holiday sets that's out. This, for example, comes from Ulta. They have a little holiday brand called Beauty Gems, and it was a $12.99 full face, 54-piece eyes and face collection, actually. And so I thought I would do that and try to just, get a full face out of it, okay? So I'll put on like my foundation, concealer, and powder, but then we'll just start rolling with this. Here's the little box. This is also nothing I've played with yet, so you're gonna see me doing this. You're gonna see me doing the scrambling with this here and learning about it as we go. But it looks like a nice matte black packaging all over. I'm gonna open the top. Here we see all the eyeshadows. Actually, kind of an interesting spread somewhat, instead of just having the full-on gradient that we sometimes see in generic palettes. And then this says pull, so I'll do that. Ooh, hi. Okay, we've got the lip colors on the sides, blushes, bronzers. Bronzers are super shimmery. Maybe a highlights and blush split pan right there. And you do have a big mirror inside, okay? So I'm gonna give that my best shot today, and we're just gonna see what we can come up with. First off, I do need to put on my foundation. My skincare is already on. I've been using this L'Oreal foundation all week, the True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum in 2-3 Light, and I love this stuff. I'm loving the staying power. I'm loving just the look on the skin after I put it on. I just swipe it. I feel like I don't have to watch it too close when I swipe it on. It's a real thin, light product, and the odds of getting too much, it just seems like that's not a real concern for me, getting too much on. And then I'm using my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to blend. Isn't that pretty coverage? It's light, it's not super dewy, and I just kind of like how perfected the skin can look without full coverage, It's really interesting. And yet you can build it really easily. Like you can just add a little more product right in here if you wanted to, get even more coverage to the overall look, but I've just been doing my initial amount and I'm happy with it. Then I do go in with a fuller coverage concealer, so this is like L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear in Oatmeal that I will just use to really bump up my coverage in the specific areas where I want to. And I kind of just start with that larger brush, just getting it really nicely over a large surface area, and then I can go into the nooks and crannies with a smaller one. Speaking of nooks and crannies, how about English muffins? They don't get enough love. I got some English muffins recently, and then Aldi has, they're selling pumpkin butter and apple cider spread or something like that. We haven't tried the apple cider yet, but the pumpkin butter is so good on an English muffin. Girls are loving it at breakfast time. Okay, so see where we are here? Super quick. And then get your little more detail concealer brush and just work it in. Guess I've been using that foundation all week aside from the Laura Geller video I did, where I did not use that. Okay, so we're brightened up, we're covered. I'm now just gonna wanna pull in a little setting powder, so Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent it is, and just pick some of that up on the e.l.f. small tapered brush, and away we go. I'm gonna give this Beauty Gems palette a nice even canvas to lay down on. Are you one who sometimes picks these up out of curiosity? Do you ever have people you shop for and you're like, I'm gonna get them, one of these little fun palettes? I think they get kind of a bad reputation, but I don't think it's wise of us to put a blanket judgment on all generic seeming palettes. I mean, think about Profusion. Profusion was out for a long time just doing those holiday big palettes in Walgreens and stuff for a while before they kind of morphed into their own real brand that was out all the time. And I remember buying some of those little Profusion ones and they were actually really good. So you can't be too judgy on this. Okay, you can even open this part without opening the eyeshadow. Okay, so it does kind of look like bronzer over here, but it's really light and shimmery. And I'm just gonna bounce around a little bit between these two. Unfortunately, deeper skin tones, and light skin tones, all skin tones, hey, you're gonna struggle. I'm acting like I'm gonna contour here. I may be getting a tiny shadow there of product. Hey, it's building a little. This one. Say what? I'm getting something. I'm getting something. I take it down the neck like I always do. build that up a little more. It's just like, it's really soft. Oh my gosh, the texture is phenomenal. If you touch it, it's smooth and creamy. It's just like we could have used a serious bronzer in here. Do you see how it's like building, but I don't want to get too shimmery. It's downright metallic if you apply it in an intense opaque way. Gonna have to leave it there, guys. Okay, bronzer. We're not starting off great. But we have what look like 3 pigmented, beautiful tones of blush right here, right in this panel. I'm going to go to the most dusty looking one first. And it's picking up a lot on the brush. Oh. Okay. See, why would they give us a beautiful matte blush but not a matte bronzer? That's pretty. Love that. Okay, let's do a little more of a pop. There's this coral shade here. There's a little satin finish in that coral. Okay. No complaints on the blush. Pretty. There's also that pretty like wine color right there. Let's just go 3 for 3. I'm barely got anything on my brush at this point, but I can tell I like all of those. Okay. Then we got highlighters here. I'm going to go mainly to this lighter one. Whoa, picked up a little more than I thought. It works. Okay, buff it in. We're all learning as I go here. That's really nice. It can come off a little dry seeming on the brush, like, oh, is this going to be flaky? But it works right into the skin without an issue. So with the face so far, I'm giving bronzer thumbs down, blush thumbs up, and highlight thumbs up. Now moving on to eyebrows. I'm not sure that there's something in here that I'd love to use in my brows. There is a deep brown, but it looks pretty warm. So I will go ahead and just use a brow product that I have. Keeping it drugstore, I'm going to use my Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil here and just get those done real quick. Then we take our Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt, and this is just going to hold our brows in place. And you bet we're putting on Milani eyeshadow primer because, I mean, we got to give this stuff its best shot. I do have a pretty glow on the skin right now. The blush is nice. Again, here's our spread. They made it real, like, just spotty in terms of where things are instead of like a gradient of dark pink to light pink or something. They've bounced it around in a way that the creators probably think makes it seem more curated and specifically done instead of quite so generic looking. So that can maybe be more interesting to the eye. At the same time, it can make a person sometimes have a little more trouble bouncing around and knowing exactly what to do. But let's see what kind of quality we're working with here. I'm going to go to this shade, this kind of camel color, and pick that up with my crease brush and just see what we get. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Kind of a peanut buttery looking shade. And I think so far we're 1 for 1 on the eyeshadows. This is pretty easy to work with. It's what you see is what you get. The color I was expecting is the color I am achieving here. So just making sure I've got those eyes even. Okay, works for me. Then we have a little bit deeper brown right over here. So I'm going to use some of that as well. The amount of deep dark shades, I mean, while they are giving us some blacks, I would have loved a bigger variety of dark colors. Especially, you know, fall and winter. Bring it on, right? But okay, that shade worked in there well also. Then maybe I can do just a little blending around the outside, bare brush. And then what do you say we go to a little, gosh, all these shades, and it's like, where's a matte cream? Go into that lighter shade there in the top row. It's kind of a little bit beigey cream, I guess. Okay. Next I see kind of a reddish rust shimmer right here. I'm going to see what happens if I add that to my look. I can see it a little bit. It's adding a little warmth there. I'm not sure how much that's translating. Texture-wise, I mean, it's soft enough. Okay, now we're going to add some of this pink right here, this sort of fuchsia color. Working a little bit of that. So obviously I'm layering this over a brownish shade, but I just want to see if I can get a little something different worked out of this. Yeah, that color is, wow, really pigmented. Now, while there are a lot of shimmers in this palette, there's a shade that looks almost like, ooh, almost kind of glittery, like a glittery rose gold. I kind of want to play with that, but first get a little darkness going here. So we're going to go, and we've got to check the dark shades too. We've got a black that looks kind of like a satin finish here, tapping off the excess. A ton of fallout taps off the brush, but then what's left on the eye doesn't pack a huge punch, but it's building. I'm getting a little bit of fallout, like if you're not super diligent about tapping that off, you will get some fallout. Not on my perfectly highlighted cheek. I'm being so careful with it, but it's like it's not that pigmented, but it's just flaky. I'm gonna go down to this black. I just want to know, like, who is snatching these up from Ulta? Who is purchasing these so Ulta feels the need to make them every year? Like, that's not bad. But like knowing all the different things Ulta has to offer, and then this is your choice, because they do have more affordable brands. Granted, it's not maybe a giant pull-apart palette, but okay, I'm blending a little, just taking my crease brush. We got a pretty, like, it's not that bad. I feel like I need to go in with a little more pinpointed brush. We're gonna try this black. It seems less flaky. I want it dark in the actual crease. It's just like the black is not quite pigmented enough. It's going down and it's not really like sticking down. Maybe that one will. Okay. Alrighty, I've got to know about this. So I'm gonna go in with my finger, swirl it around a bit, and see what's going on here. It's kind of like a glitter. It looks chunky, kind of, as it goes on. Like we're seeing large shimmer flecks. Maybe not technically glitter, but large flecks of shimmer. Now I guess I have to put it over here. I don't love that look. I like more of a smooth, or if it's going to be glitter, there needs to be so much of it that you're not seeing just the little pieces. I don't love that at all. I'm not into that. I mean, sheen is fine. It's frustrating. What else is down here? Ooh, that shade looks pretty. This pearl right here, it looks like it has some like sparkle potential. Let me just hold the whole palette up here to you. You see what we're working with? I'm going down here to this one. And I'm again doing a finger application just because I feel like that's our best shot. Okay, that's pretty glitzy. And the sparkle is a little more like concentrated in that. It does have kind of a thick look to it on the eye, that shimmer, but it's providing contrast, which I don't mind. This red really stands out to me here. Ooh, it's got like a little, it's a very cherry red, and there's like a little feeling of moisture almost in that. I'm not sure how easily this would go on sheer, but I'll try. Go in there with my little wispy white. And kind of, yeah. It adds a little warmth, a little rusty warmth here. What do I do kind of on the under eye? Let's take like this bronzy color over here. This looks very everyday. Oh, that's nicely pigmented. Suddenly smoky liner. Really, I mean, the look that I'm coming out with, even though maybe a few shades made me struggle a bit, I'm not going to come away thinking, oh, I'm embarrassed to wear this look, or this really didn't work. I think it did work. You're just going to go in really not knowing what kind of formula you're getting unless you're really just very familiar with beauty gems. Like, it's going to be kind of more of a surprise, and sometimes it's the unexpected nature of it all that can make it a bit challenging. But okay, I'm going to slap on some eyeliner and some mascara, and I'll be back and we're going to do some lips. Okay, my friends, so here's the finished eye. I did black liquid liner with a little wing, a light brightening liner in the lower inner rim. I popped on mascara top and bottom, and then these are the number 11 style out of my So Wispy curated collection from Kiss. I love this lash set, by the way. If you like wispy styles that look, I don't know, not so blunt cut and not so cheap looking as some other lashes sometimes can. These are wonderful. And these number 11s are very flared out at the outside. Lots of length at the outside. I just thought I'd add that to give you a little different vibe with this eye look and show you, you know, that you could also do a really classic, possibly like formal occasion look with something like this. Like, it is possible. Now we're going to talk about the lips. So we get to open. Just about hit myself. I definitely hit my lashes with that. Yikes. We've got two lip panels here. One looks a little more earthy and one is more reddish. I think I'm gonna probably take from both. See how opaque they are. Ooh, they look more just glossy and sheer. I was gonna pull in a lip brush if they were as opaque as lipsticks, but it doesn't look that way. Like, that shade's barely, oh man. How about the red? How about the pure red? I went right into here, okay? Okay, that's giving me a little. We're just gonna have to like try to take what we can get at this point, because these are not, did they call these lip glosses? They do call them lip glosses. They don't call them lipsticks, so I shouldn't really expect a lot of pigment here. I put the red on my top lip. I'm now moving over to this side. I'm gonna look to this dark, ooh, this wine color. That's going all over. That's a little disappointing though, because there are some really pretty looking shades in here that just, you know, that doesn't even have color to show. We're going with this wine, whatever does go some. I'm seeing kind of a golden coppery shimmer right in here. Wonder if that does anything. Yeah, that shows a little. A little dabberoo of that in the middle. So it's not a 100%, oh my gosh, I love everything in here. Obviously you saw me work with the bronzer and it's like, is that really showing up? But then we really rebounded strong with the blush and the highlight. I thought those went on beautifully, absolutely pigmented and lovely. The other parts of this panel that pulls out, I mean, know that that's all gonna be sheer on the lips. If you do use the wine color, I mean, that gave me some color. But I feel like you're really pared down on the actual lip look options you have when everything is so sheer, because it's not like that shows up super true to color or like this one. There's going to be a lot of sheer going on there. Now with your eyeshadow panel, there's a lot of variety and I think it's kind of hit and miss. The textures on some, even like that seemingly near matte black, satin finish black up here, like that was really flaky. That was really like I had to apply a tiny bit at a time, get it blended out. I had to really treat that one special. But then there were some different like mattes in here that were totally cool, like, you know, the browns that I set up the crease with. This shimmer, I do suspect maybe a little overspray on some of those very glitzy looking shimmers, because now that I've worked into them a little bit, they're seeming more smooth. Even the one that really looked downright glittery at the start, like now that's seeming actually to swatch a bit smoother and more metallic. Definitely room for some cooler eye looks with this thing, but again, it's going to be a little more hit and miss. Some of the shimmers are going to be a little more troublesome to work with. Like I said, the mattes seem fairly reliable, but there are going to be some shimmers that I think you run into where it's like, okay, be ready for a little fallout. Definitely had to dust some of that away, but what I kind of wanted to set out to do here was end with something where you wouldn't look at that and say, oh, that's a real cheap palette eye look, but rather something that could actually be sported at a special occasion and no one would be the wiser, right? So it is possible. It's not something I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody needs this Beauty Gems palette. It's a total hidden gem of the holidays. I don't really think so, but is it capable of creating looks you could be proud of? I think so. It's most definitely not as impossible as some people would make the generic palettes seem, okay? Did you know you're up an hour early?
There we all go.
There we go. We matched today. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
He's like, what kind of universe did I just enter into here? Love you. We're gonna go get some milk and some coffee. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I think I covered all the points I meant to cover. If you tried any palettes like this, please let me know in the comments. Tell me which ones were total gems, what was a dud, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. Bye. Last words? Suspicious of the whole operation here.